This is a Q&A session. The link to the live stream is in the description. Now, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome. The link's in the description. This is a Q&A session. The link is in the description. Now, I'm going to start with this. Yep. The link's in the description if you want to ask questions. Like I said, you're more than welcome to come on. And yeah, welcome. See if anybody else wants to come on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right so far, so good. Figure start a little Q&A session.
Mm-hmm.
See if anybody shows up. There's a question for me. I believe in like having open doors at this point. Just gotta hold on. I'm like I said, now that you're here, I like to try to experiment with some things, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Good. All right. Exit this up over here. I just wanted to try something, you know. If anybody wants to come in, the link's in the description. So, I mean, yeah, do you have any questions for me?
No, I mean, just for transparency's sake, I mean, we were chit chatting a little bit earlier, and it's
Yeah.
one of those things that, you know, I appreciate having a few of the brothers, specifically Tico, you, and Americus, uh, just being around, whenever, to chit chat with and stuff. And I think you're a really good source of like information for MGTOW stuff. And, you could chalk it up to luck or intelligence or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Wind is a good person to ask questions, especially if you're, planning on, going down the same path, which is why if you're, whether or not you're listening to this now or later, definitely MGTOW the Wind is somebody that, you feel comfortable asking questions about, like MGTOW stuff or even red pill stuff.
In fact, I think Tico would be just as good, if not better. You know.
No, we all are really open about like wanting to take questions and stuff. I might not be able to give you the answer right away, but
I see it. The thing is, like, even though I jump on people for being for pretty much their own self destruction, I am more than willing to answer questions if they ask, you know, to the best of my ability. And if I feel that I've done the best of my ability and think that that somebody else can give you a better answer, I will point you to that direction. I don't believe in like being in having a question unanswered. Like I said, there's a saying. There's an old saying there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know, you ever heard of that
Mhm.
before?
Yeah, right. Kind of
Like
like
so,
there's like skinning a cat is already like not it's pretty straightforward and visceral of a thing. It's like you're taking the skin off the cat.
right? You're taking the skin off the cat. There's more, like I said, but what do you want to start from the head and work your way down, work your way back, or it's back, work your way up?
Mhm.
You're still skinning. Your end goal is getting that cat skinned. Depends on what you're gonna do with the fur. But on that note is you have to understand. People have to understand. It's like there's not a lot of people that are this open. Because I'm even willing to invite the anti-MGTOW onto my live stream
Mhm.
if they want to debate. You know, it's just going to take a little bit longer for them to. It's just going to take live stream's going to be a little longer than I expected. You know what I mean? I don't expect people to like say, right now we're at 0 views. Not surprising. None of this surprises me.
And I think another thing I can be transparent about is, I mean, part of me likes doing this, and that part may have some origins of when I was still blue pilled,
As
and
for
whether, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
as for everyone, you may still be blue. It may become stemming from when you were still blue pilled,
Mhm.
but it stems from you don't want people to go through what you've been through.
Exactly. Like, if they got to take the same path that I take, that's one thing, but I'm not going to encourage them to go down that path.
I
And I'm not
wouldn't even.
telling them that me having lived it, I'm going to be able to help them do it better, because I didn't do it better. I made mistakes. So
And
I
you
get where
must.
people are at. Yeah, I get where
Mm.
people are at, where they feel like it's hard to trust people, but you just kind of have to turn that skepticism in on yourself and realize, like, and give yourself a little bit of credit.
Right. But for me, it's along the lines of I don't want people to go down the same. I don't want to give people to go down my path. Like I don't brag. Like I said, when have you ever heard me brag about getting laid?
Mm, never. I
Never.
mean, whenever you mentioned it, it's always been like this happened. I'm not 100% positive about it, but it is what it is.
But it was a time that I did brag about it.
Right, to fit in with people, I guess, or to stand out.
Now, after a while, but I've always had these morals. You know, I've always had these set of rules that most people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
I will not ruin a virgin. I will not. I will. It comes from a personal reason. I will not. I will not. I will refuse. If some chick tells me that she is a virgin during those days, I would decline it and say no. I am not going to sit here and ruin you. You know. I literally would have turned down the hottest chick if she was a virgin in those days because I knew what type of person I was back then. I've never ruined a virgin. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I only
Yeah.
dated. I only slept with women who were ruined already because I knew for a fact that they were going to screw up first. I knew for a fact that they were going to screw up first. They were going to be first to mess up. But I understand from my first time, like I said, whether you believe it or not, whether you want to say it or not, men don't like to admit this. Men don't like to admit this. When they lose their virginity, they get whipped. You know, the first time. That they travel down a road where not a lot of people do, but oh yeah, at work. Not a lot of people travel down that path. But because I went down that path, I couldn't see myself ruining a virgin. Call it a moral compass. Call it a moral compass. Call it what you want. Like whoever's in the stream, the link's in the description. You can get on here. Call it a moral compass. But I could never, like, after I lost my virginity in some less than favorable ways, I couldn't bring myself to ruin a virgin because I know how I felt. Yes, I am an ass. I'm a whole ass. But I have a set of morals. I have a set code that I will follow. That I did follow. If I lost a bet, I'd pay up. If I made a promise, I'd do my damn hardest to keep that promise. Now, that was before the Marine Corps. After the Marine Corps, it just basically solidified it. Now, via that I've had a life that I've had friends. I've had friends that I've known since preschool stab me in the back and leave me hanging out to dry, all for some tail. I've had friends stab me in the back. And that is the reason that if somebody has had my back, even if I'm the last person, I will still continue to have their back against all odds because I know how it feels to be stabbed in the back. I know how it feels to be left out to dry. And I'm not going to leave somebody hanging because I
You
will.
know, it's interesting that you mention that because, like, speaking from experience, and I think it's great. I think it's honorable that you share personal information like that with people, and not everyone's going to treat that with the utmost confidence, which is a terrible reality that people have to accept. And they should be careful what they say because, regardless of their conviction, there's going to be someone that's going to want to use that against you. But me, when you talked about not getting involved with somebody that you knew wasn't going to screw up before you did, that's
Right.
kind of that's kind of that's kind of like a pretty big red pill. Like a lot of people on this platform, I think, have like very high expectations. Like so, like for example, like they're going to always being a virgin or whatever. Sorry for being vulgar, but like they seek after people who are not sexually experienced,
Right.
the argument that they make is kind of like an argument from like it definitely like posturing towards outside. Like they want to say something that other people would agree with. So like yeah, not
In
dating a
my
thought,
right.
not dating a thought. Most people would agree with that. That's not a good idea.
in
Whether or
my
not they model
eyes,
that
in
is a
my
different story.
eyes, in my eyes, by me banging a virgin after virgin after virgin, you're making the problem worse.
Right on. I mean, it's deviancy. It's like it's still deviancy. You
It's
know.
still, I mean, you're making the problem worse. I always stuck to the ones that are already ruined, because how in the world, how can I say to myself, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even honestly know. Looking back, if you're MGTOW or Red Pill, I don't know how in the world you can honestly look back at yourself and be
Yeah.
proud of those moments and be proud
Yeah.
that you contributed to the problem.
Mhm.
I don't know how. It's just like, how is it you can actually look back and live with yourself? You know, knowing that, I mean, they repress it under some. I mean, some people say, "Oh yeah, I did this, did that." So you basically made the problem worse. You basically made the problem worse.
And a lot of them are lying too.
Right, right. A lot of them are lying.
Mhm.
I've never, like I said, all the chicks that I banged, they were not on birth control. I put a condom on, or I didn't screw. Because why am I going to ruin two people's my life and somebody else's? How much sense does that make? It's a show of discipline, which a lot of people do not have.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
it's actually it's really it's a shame, really, but they don't really acknowledge the fact that they've contributed to the problem. Now, I contributed to the problem in my own way by messing around with chicks that were already ruined. I get basically each of us, especially if you basically screwed all to this point, you've contributed to the problem. Now, I mean, like I said, they may have screwed up before I did. Actually, they pretty much all of them screwed up before I did, before I ever did. At my age, if a chick proclaimed to be a virgin, I would want to meet the parents. I would want to meet her parents. I would then direct her parents to my channel, and I would have them with their daughter watch their family watch my channel and make that decision themselves. Now, question: your channel is basically, if you like I said, if you meet a woman, and she is a virgin, meet the parents first. Direct them to your channel. Yes, they're gonna see the most recent video, but I would want them to see my progression. I would want them to hear the story. I want them to understand my story. That's what a MGTOW channel is.
That's like transparency, like full transparency, because they
Right,
talk about
that.
they talk about Fight Club. You're not supposed to talk about Fight Club, and I understand that. But you got a lot of people who are out here in the manosphere who are preaching one game
and doing
a complete opposite. So it's like you can't just omit everything when it comes to your personal life and the people you try to get you become close with,
right?
Because you're leaving us out. You're leaving us all to hang when it doesn't go over well, and then you get exposed.
Let me bring
this to everybody who is in MGTOW gets labeled as being in a cult when it's not really like that.
Right, and it's like it's usually the bigger channels that leave the smaller channels out to hang. It's usually the bigger channels that leave the smaller channels out to hang, like the Coach Greg Adams, Sandman, Mickey 101, a few, whatever the heck. It's mostly the bigger channels. It's also the pickup artists that are causing the problem. It's also the pickup artists, whether you believe it or not. Like I said, the link's in the description if you want to come in here and ask questions. But it's mostly the pickup artists that leave a bad taste in people's mouths about MGTOW. You know? It's usually the pickup artists, the dating coaches, and the bigger YouTube channels. Whether you like it or not, it's the bigger YouTube channels on MGTOW. And it's what it is. That's why I've been on YouTube for so long. And I mean, I don't blame them for me not advancing. I do take blame. I do take blame to where I know where my channel doesn't grow. I mean, quite frankly, I got some speculations why my channel's not going to grow because of my previous videos. My previous videos will always restrict my channel, whether I remove them or not. So the better thing to do is just to leave them there. That's probably the best idea would be to leave them there because in all intents and purposes, it's not going to help me either way. The damage is already done. The damage has already been done. Whether I like it or not, it doesn't matter. My channel is tainted with the previous roast videos that I did. My channel is tainted with the previous reaction videos that basically detracted from the message. I got warnings and 2 strikes before. So my channel is going to be heavily throttled. Would I be surprised if I get more strikes? No. Would I be surprised if I get another warning? No. Look, although it's, if you look at the about, it would say 2014. I didn't start making videos to 2017. I didn't start making MGTOW videos until 2017. My first video was a Warframe video that I took down because it was basically useless. You know? Like I said, anybody, whoever's in the chat, you want to come in? The link's in the description. hit the arrow, the drop box right there. You'll see the link. But for the most part, the damage is already done to my channel. I take responsibility for that damage. I take full responsibilities for them 2 strikes and that warning. You know, that's about what it. That's the response. That's the thing. What people don't realize is during those times, as a new MGTOW, you're influenced. You can be heavily influenced based on who you associate with, who you base your channel off of. You are heavily influenced because you just want, you want to fit in and you do not want to pull away from the pack. You're still in that pack mindset. All it is you have to be able to go your own way. Because if you don't, well, you're going to continue to fall back into the same traps and snares. It's okay it's good to learn. It's good to learn from these people, because you can learn a whole lot. But it's not good to stay stationary. In fact, it's not safe or smart. Now I'm gonna try this, like I said, I'm gonna try this Q&A tomorrow because a lot of people don't seem to be on. AM. Yeah. Yep. But we got Baron Yam here, and it's MGTOW to win. And basically, since there's not a lot of people on today, right? So, and people are just coming in and out. This is a Q&A special. I'm gonna try again later on, like a little bit. Try to shut down earlier tomorrow. That's what happens when plans.
Yeah, I heard you.
Hey, Yam, is that you in the chat? Is that you bouncing in and out the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had YouTube open on my phone.
Oh, what I'd say it is like I'm just gonna cut this short, this Q&A short.
I understand.
Because there's not a lot of people on, and it's like where I'm at, it's a little late, and everybody's got work, and it's probably daylight where you're at. Am I wrong?
No, it's like 7:30.
Yeah. There's just like I said, these people are having dinner. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. Like I said, if you whether you watch this stream in retrospect or come back, like I said, there's always going to be a Q&A every once in a while. But tonight, it doesn't seem to be going all right. This is MGTOW to win. Baron Yam is going to see your outro.
Yeah, this is Baron Yam. Stay cool, MGTOW. Be discerning, gentlemen, and be safe. Don't get into anything you can't get yourself out of, and always remember there's multiple ways to skin a cat. You guys have a good night. Be blessed. Take those red pills, and take a black pill every now and again. That's it.
This is MGTOW to win. Basically get yourself a fine bottle of wine. Pop the cork. and swirl it around that glass, like swirl that information around your head, like that wine in the glass.
A MGTOW.
Stay MGTOW
That's
as
right.
much as you possibly can. Treat yourself like milk. Do nothing but spoil yourself. This is MGTOW on the Wind with Baron Yam, signing off.
Peace.